In this video, I'm going to show you or introduce you to the next assignment, which is assignment 1A, part 2, which is the investigation and analysis. In this phase, you will need to gather information from different investigations and then analyze that to see what the problems are with the current or old system and work out the requirements for the new system. So basically you have a number of documents to help you with that. You have the assignment instruction here, you have a PowerPoint guide, and then you've got an example investigation template which will help you with the layout of each investigation, at least the headings. You've got two examples here, example A and example B. They're both on different topics. Example B has signatures and also comments for the client on. Example A is more of a draft one which has yet to get client approval. So first of all then, you need to analyze the old system. It needs to be totally client focused, and you can get your user group involved as well when looking at the old system. You also need to conduct a number of investigations. First of all, you can do a questionnaire, interview, observations. That means you can say you're doing an educational program. You can go and watch a lesson, make notes, video, or some sort of voice recording of an event while it's happening. It could be a process that goes on in an organization you're building a business tool for. If you're doing a retro game, you could video somebody playing the game and listen to their comments whilst they're playing it, so get them to do a commentary on it. Input and output documents are also something that you can look into. That means user manuals or anything or any output that a system produces, particularly business tools. You've also got user guides and screen designs and screenshots that you can show. You could software reviews. You can go to the internet, do a review, or any other evidence that will help you to analyze the problem. Note that for good marks, you will need to gather evidence using 4 or 5 methods as listed above. So the rest of the PowerPoint really goes into how to construct an investigation and how to analyze it. I'll go through that more in the lesson, and it also looks at textual analysis. Notice here on the textual analysis that any problems you can go to a review, copy that review into a Word document, and then any problems that are highlighted in the review you can highlight in red, and any requirements for a new system you can highlight in yellow, and then you can list them in a table below. Again, you could do a review of a video game that's playing on YouTube. You can write a bit about it and then again list the problems and requirements for that. Diagrams are also very useful. This is a systems diagram, basically showing you how a database interacts with a particular system or a number of databases, and then you can list the problems and requirements of the existing system. Okay then, so what you've got to do is read through the assignment A2. You've got to look at examples on Moodle and plan in outline your 4 investigations. The deadline for this is Friday the 12th of September. Now that's not very far away, so you're going to have to work very hard both inside and outside the lesson. Remember, you've got 4.5 hours of lessons a week, and then you're supposed to do 4.5 hours outside the classroom as homework. Right, first of all I'll show you the template. This is an investigation template. basically covering one investigation. You can do your review, observation or whatever, and the write-up transcripts or screenshots in this particular part here. And then you can construct a table using word tables. And then you can place down all the problems you find with the system, and all the requirements come out of talking to the client while showing him the investigation or her the investigation. Your client comments can go underneath here, and then don't forget you need a signature from a client, and then a summary of your findings at the bottom, and then a brief bit about what you're going to investigate next, so that you can go on towards the actual requirement specification at the end. This is a good time then to look at an investigation, one of the examples, and this is example B that we're looking at here. A quick introduction into the investigations you're going to do and how you're going to conduct them. And then investigation 1 here was looking at some of the games that were online. So basically a brief explanation, some screenshots here, and a commentary on what the game is about. From that, you can analyze the investigation and come out with a number of good, she's come out with the good aspects of the game here, problems and requirements, and then a bit about that afterwards. And note that she's got client feedback here. Now this is done in the form of the client looking through the investigation, writing some notes, and then she's either photographed that piece of paper, or she's allowed the client to write on the documents and then create it as a PDF. But you've got the signature of the client there. So you can see that she's done a number of investigations here. Each one has client comments. This one was looking at a YouTube of a game, and basically talking about the actual game itself, and you can look at that, and then again coming up with the requirements and analysing it. She's also done a questionnaire, and again you can see that all the evidence for the questionnaire, some sort of analysis of the questionnaire at the bottom using a pie chart, and then again you've done the things there where you've looked at the problems and the requirements of the game. And this is followed up by a meeting, which can be the result of your investigations with your client, minutes and agenda again. And you can see it's quite detailed. And then you can look at the actual information and put it as requirements and the problems that you discuss during the investigation. So the main thing that you need to work out from this is that there are definitely structure to every investigation, and that is you need to do an investigation, number it, you need to analyze your findings, you need to get client comments, you need to get a client signature, and then some sort of summary at the end, and look forward to your next investigation. Remember, you need to do 4 or 5 of these in draft by the deadline, which is the 12th of September. What's this all working to? Well, do not forget to factor in the fact that you're trying to produce the requirements of the system. Now, these are also listed in the document or the assignment document, the headings for this. But you want an overview. These are the requirements which must be done as the last part of your investigation. So you're going to look at an overview of the system. You're going to look at the design requirements. You're going to look at the input, processing and output requirements of the system. And also, if you're going to employ file size, this is why we did databases, so you can work out the file size calculation. Remember that from F452. Hardware requirements and software requirements. And don't forget to get your client to sign it off at the end. A really good example of that was on Fred's example of his investigations here. You can see he got top marks for this, basically. So you can go and follow his through, because he's got a few different investigations that he conducted, including one of a diagram here showing the whole process of playing the game Mastermind here. So he sort of investigated that and came out with some problems and requirements from that. And you can see at the end, after he conducted an interview at the end, he's gone through his requirement specifications. Again, he's got his overview, design requirements, input requirements, processing requirements, output requirements listed, estimated file size, hardware and software requirements. Okay, that should be enough information for you to start your investigation. Remember my Gmail address, which is at the top of the Moodle. If you have any problems, I will be making sure and checking on you periodically in class to make sure that you are making progress with this.